Okay, this is a video to show how to cut rigid foam insulation. I have cut several pieces. I have used different techniques. I did check on the internet. The technique I'm using now is I took a 6-inch taping knife. The taping knife is good because it's flexible and it is made of thinner stock. Then the idea is to grind an edge. It doesn't actually have to be razor sharp. I ground it on a grinding wheel. It's sharp, but not like a razor. Okay, now the idea is you have your line. In this case, I've used a 4-foot level because I am cutting across 4 feet. It's a 2-inch board. The idea is to place the edge up against and draw it in a horizontal manner because that gives a very low angle to the cut. And to do it many, many times, like maybe 5 to 10 times to go through the entire thing. And when starting off, I make sure that I get it right in because with this like this, it's still easy for it to blade to wander. If you simply try to hold it vertical on the first cut, you may wander off. So on the first cut, I actually push it in. That's just to break the surface. Once you have that, it tends not to wander, and then you can, on subsequent cuts, focus on just keeping it vertical. Okay, now I will basically show you a little bit here because I can kind of do a little bit of it one-handed. And there you see, but the idea now is to just go over and over. I'll hit pause, and I'll show you after I've gone through a couple of times and tell you the number of times I've done it. And because I can't do the whole thing holding on to it like this. So. Okay, I've done this 5 or 6 times, and you can see I've worked down almost about 1 inch of the way through it. And in this case, you could mark it on both sides and turn it over, but I found after doing that a couple times and then trying it this way that you can also go straight through. You just want to be a little bit more careful on keeping it vertical after you break the skin, then after that concentrating on keeping it vertical. Okay, I'll just work my way down through it a little bit more. Okay, I've been keeping with it. Here you can see I'm almost all the way through. I did have a bit of a problem on the far side here because I wasn't keeping as good attention to the verticality, and it did start going through at an angle more than I wanted to. So on this side I tried cutting actually like this and then working it through to try to get that angle straight. So you do get better with this the more you do it. Now that it's at a hinge, I'm going to support it with my right hand while I cut, or support it with one hand while I cut with the other, just so it doesn't snap at a bad angle. I might be able to snap it off, but what I've been doing, oh, well, there it did snap off. Okay, so you can see that the cut that you get is really quite nice, much better than you'll get with a saw, or even other types. This can be as smooth as the factory cut sides. Now here's where I had a little problem at the end. Right there I noticed my cut was going in, so I cut it back at a different angle. But overall, it's not perfect over here, but it's not terrible. And on the other section here, this was a 2-inch one, so it was a little bit tougher than the 1-inch ones. The reason why this blade is nice, even for 2 inches, is that you can still kind of grip the handle and work it through at a relatively low angle. The thicker the material, the bigger you want the blade, even though you're only using half of it. course, this is still a perfectly useful taping knife. It's just that it might be slightly dangerous to use it if you're not using it for cutting. So I actually had an extra one of these, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so this one came out okay. It snapped off, obviously. I wasn't wanting to snap it, but I noticed it did snap right on the line. So that's not so bad. Okay, so that's it.